Hello everyone, it is Susan here and welcome to my channel. So today I wanted to do a video on how to collect seeds, flower seeds, to plant again next year. So I'm going to be focusing on 3 different types of plants. We have the zinnia, we have marigolds, and we have calendula. So they're very different, which is interesting. As you watch this, you'll see how different it can be. And so what I have is I have just these little ceramic bowls where I'm putting my seeds. I just put a little post-it note in there that these are my zinnia seeds. And a zinnia seed looks like this. It almost looks like, let me make sure I'm getting that in here well enough. It almost looks like an arrowhead. It looks very similar to an arrowhead. And the way to get zinnia seeds is by pulling the leaves of the flower. So you pull, right? I just pulled those 3 leaves. And you can see that the seed itself is attached to the end of the leaf. Now, I've seen people take the time to pull the leaf part off, but to me, I don't know how it would make any difference, right? So come next year, well, first of all, they may fall off naturally, so I'm going to be lazy and not take the time now to do that. But even if I planted, the seeds with that attached, I don't really think it would make a difference. I don't know. I don't know. But that's kind of what I'm thinking. So then, I'm just putting them in here. Everything right now, these are really nice and dry. I do have, all of my zinnia actually are almost gone from my garden. And I do have some on my kitchen table. I have in a vase. When they start dying, I'll save those as well. I have a bunch downstairs. A lot of the zinnia flowers I didn't save because the leaves had powdery mildew. And, that can overwinter, and I didn't want to have seeds that had anything to do with powdery mildew. I don't know if it would make a difference or not in the seeds I'm saving, but I didn't want to take a chance. So I have a lot less seeds than I had originally thought I was going to have because I had to get rid of a lot of my zinnias because of the powdery mildew. So next year, this was my first year growing the zinnia, and I saw the powdery mildew starting, but I just kind of let it go, and I shouldn't have done that because it kept spreading. And it really only affected the zinnia, although I did see it on, I think, 1 or 2 of my sunflowers, but it didn't affect the dahlias. It didn't affect the sunflowers for the most part. It didn't affect my calendula or my marigolds. So it really basically geared around my zinnia. So next year I'm going to, I forget what the concoction is. There's a mix that you can mix up and spray and handle it from the get-go. So next year I'll do that, right? I'm learning. So that's how you save the zinnia seeds. Oh, that just broke right off. Let's see. Okay, so here we go. So these, and this is going to be hard to see, but the end of every one of these leaves, there are seeds. So it's a different color and it's a little bit different shape. But I'm going to keep them all. And next year I'll be planting those seeds in my garden. So that's zinnia. So let's do marigolds. Now these marigolds are a little different not really different. They're what they're called. And I happen to see a video on this particular type of marigold. They're called tall crackerjack marigolds. And they're like giant marigolds. That's the only way I can explain it. There's several, well, 2 to 3 feet tall, I would say, or 3 to 4 feet even. They're pretty tall. And the flower itself is quite large. And I had orange as well as yellow. This happens to be a yellow one, but it is nicely dried out. So that's one thing you always want to make sure of is, you know, even if you harvest the seeds when it's still a little bit green, you just want to leave the seeds out until they're nice and dry. Just let them sit for a month out somewhere. Like I put mine in my basement. They just sit there. They're not bothering anything. And I'm sure that they're really dry. I'll probably just leave them out. I don't know if I'll ever actually package my flower seeds away. I will probably just leave them in these bowls and plant them next year. So they'll be, I mean, they'll obviously be nice and dry. But here's one that I had already opened. So the seeds in the marigold are in the base. So you can see all of these seeds from this one plant. These are all seeds. The long black piece, those are all the seeds. And if you look in here, in this one flower, I can't tell, there has to be 100 seeds in one flower, right? So if I open this one up, right, this is again nice and dry, you can easily see all the seeds in there. And I don't care about the color on these, so I'm just going to put the yellow and the oranges together. And so when I do plant them next year, I will try to control, you know, like maybe I'll have different bowls, meaning that I'll have a nice combination of yellow and orange together in one bowl, knowing that it's about, you know, 50-50, do about the same amount of flowers. But then I'm going to have a lot more orange than I'm going to have yellow. And so those just orange I'll put into another bowl. And I have a bunch of these downstairs that have been down there for a while as well. And on my plant, so this week, it's been, you know, in the high 90s, which is out of the ordinary, certainly for the beginning of September, New Jersey, but not unheard of. But, and the humidity has been extremely high. Or not actually high, just high, but more so at the heat index, it's been over 100. And so a lot of my plants just went yellow, like the leaves on them. And so I'm going to stop watering my tall crackerjack marigold plant. And I'm just going to let them die back. So I probably have in total, I don't know, 50 to 75 flowers on there. So if there's, I'm just going to say 100 seeds in each flower, you know, we're talking thousands of seeds. So it's pretty incredible. So it's like, well, and I do have to say that this is my first time doing this. This year was my first year growing flowers, and I loved it so much. And yep, so I'm going to do it again next year. And I almost like growing flowers more than vegetables, which is really odd. But I just find them so pretty. I get a lot of pleasure out of looking at them. So why should I buy seeds, or why should you buy seeds when you have your seeds? You're buying these same seeds. When you buy seeds from somebody, it's these seeds right here. So just save your own, you know. Now, the calendula. This is an awesome plant. As you can see, I have a good 100 seeds already. These seeds remind me of like a curled up, this is going to sound terrible, but it does. It's what it reminds me of. Almost like a curled up worm. And some of them have like little spiky things on them. I don't know. They're definitely strange looking for sure. And there's all different sizes and shapes and colors. But I've been saving the calendula, and again, it's probably the same as the marigolds. I'm going to have 50 to 75 flowers from my plants. But the seeds are not as abundant in the calendula. So a calendula seed are like when you break it apart. So let me see if I want to do it gently. This one is really dry, super duper 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 dry. So I don't think I've ever broken one of the seeds, but this one is like super dry. So, you know, when you go in here, they're right inside. So let me see if I can show you this. So see, that's a seed right there. That's a seed right there. That's another seed, but it's bigger, right? So right inside, this is two together right here. So right inside are the seeds. So let me see if I can show you again. Okay, I have, let me see if I can show. No, it would be best probably with one of these. All right, so again, you can see this is where the flower would be, right? I let it dry. And now you can see all the seeds just sitting in there. And you just break it apart. And your seeds, they're just there. These are all the seeds. Again, they're different sizes, they're different shapes, right? So these, I don't know, there's probably, I'd say, well, I guess it depends. I'd say 10 to 25 of these in each flower, depending, you know, on the size. And sometimes they fall, you know, outside in the container I have them in. So I'm assuming that they'll, you know, just grow again next year. But anyway, so that's how you collect the calendula seed. And if you haven't grown calendula yet, I mean, obviously, well, not obviously, it is good medicinally for several different things, and I don't want to get into that. But the plant itself is gorgeous. It is still blooming. It is September. It's been blooming for months. It is a cut and come again. So I've been pretty diligent in keeping it cut back. And so it's still blooming. So it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And the flowers are also yellow and orange, but they all look so different, the flowers themselves. So that is the calendula. If you don't grow it, you should, because it's gorgeous. And then there's just one other thing I wanted to show you. So if you have parsley, so I dry my parsley. What I do is I'll cut it back. I'll just cut the whole thing down. In fact, it's almost ready for me to do again, and I have to do my chives again too, and I do it the same way. I just cut the whole thing back. It's gone. It's got down to maybe, you know, a couple inches left in my container outside. And I bring it in, I make sure that everything is clean, and then I hang up bunches. And I have them hung up on a long string here in my craft room. And for, you know, a week or two, then they dry. I take them down. I leave them tied together. I leave this was attached to my string. but I just cut it, and then I'll put this into a baggie to use whenever. So that's how I do the parsley. That's one way. But this group right here of parsley, I just left out. Just like this. I didn't separate it. It literally dried in a little chunk like this, and it's perfectly dry. It's perfect for soup, stews, whatever, right? So be sure that you're drying your herbs as well. And I dry a lot of basil as well, and some of that I do in the microwave, some I don't. I prefer that in the microwave. And I do have a video on that. I'll try to remember to put the link below for that. And so now it's so easy, you know, just do it. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So that is it. And let me know if you have any questions. And I'm also going to be saving sunflower seeds. I have the marshmallow seeds and dahlias. I'm going to save some dahlias, not all that I've grown this year, because I didn't love all of the flowers, but some of them are so incredible that I have to try to grow them again. So yeah, so that's it, and let me know if you have any questions. All right, have a great weekend. Bye-bye.